Hi, I'm Marcel James, and welcome to my review of the Kahayan Solid 4000 stereo Mixbuss. Now, before I get into the tech notes and the various features and history of the Kahayan, I just want to say that when I first got it, I started to use it for mastering, which is what I do. And I found that it has a specific flavor that's great on some things, but you kind of want to account for it because it does do a gluing of the sound together that is limiting, but it's not a limiter. It compresses, but it's not a compressor. It EQs in a way, but it's not an EQ. So you basically want to make sure that you account for that sound when you're mastering. It may not work on everything. It works on some things very well, but you definitely want to put it in the path, start from zero, and what I mean by account for it is don't put it on something. Don't just press it in after you've already done your EQ. Basically put it in your path from the beginning, knowing that you're going to use it. So for a mastering engineer, I find it's a very useful color, a good thing to have as a choice in your arsenal. For mixing, I find it almost essential. And that's kind of the barrier between, is it a mastering device? Well, yes, it is. Is it a mixing device? Absolutely. If you don't have a stereo Mixbuss that you really love for mixing, and I do some mixing here as well, I think the Kahayan is a great choice at a great price. It basically glues the sound together and gives it an energy that you really can't find easily with anything else. Even my own rig, I'm not able to replicate that exact sound without it. I also like it for production. Let's look at this not as just a Mixbuss processor, but as a processor. You can use it on stems, you can use it on drums. It's great on synths, virtual synths especially, because these are things that replicate, in many cases, vintage synthesizers that were hardware. And I've always found that the plugins sound really good a lot of times, but they don't always have the weight or the solidity of the hardware itself. And this is a great tool for putting on that kind of stuff and just giving it maybe not density isn't the right word, but a weight. And it really sounds like hardware once you go through it. So even if you're just putting this on individual buses, it's very, very useful. So you can put it on the Mixbuss. You can do both. You can run some of your stems through it, print them back in, and then mix your entire track through it. That works great that way as well. I'm working on a synth pop project, and I've been looking for the right flavor piece without being too overbearing. And I found that this device is perfect. The Kahayan just sounds great on the projects that I'm working on, giving it that 80s synth pop sound. It gives it a hardware aspect and also a flavor that I've been missing. So I'm using it myself, not just on the occasional master and on mixing, but I'm using it on all of the tracks I'm working on for my own project. So I think that's the way you look at this, not just as okay, as a fixed thing. It's definitely a flavor. It's a famous flavor. It's one that people like and is proven. But it also is something that's not going to be overbearing on anything you run through it. So it's going to maintain its sort of integrity of what you're working on, of the actual music. So let's get into some of the notes I have on the Kahayan.
Somebody better put you back in your place. Manipulation and guilt written on your face. But I know you're lying from your eyes, and all I wanna do is keep you satisfied. And I'm coming to terms that you're hard to replace. When all is said and done and you're at home on your own, do you ever wonder about picking up that phone? Because ain't nobody gonna love you like I did. Ain't nobody gonna love you like I did. Ain't nobody gonna love you like I did. Ain't nobody gonna love you like.
quick note about the sample you just heard. I did level match everything perfectly, so you're just hearing the effects of the Kahayan. I really like how it filled in the vocal, and if you mix into it, it will impact your decision, so you'll get even a little more out of it. The settings were very moderate. As you could see, the meter wasn't moving a lot, but enough for you to get an idea of what the effect sounds like. Kahayan is a diverse audio equipment manufacturer. They build lots of different types of audio equipment. They're based in Spain. In fact, a friend of mine, Nick, who's also a mastering engineer, turned me on to Kahayan, and Nick has a really good nose for gear, so that got my attention right away. They were founded by Pablo Kahayan. It seems like all the good companies have this iconic founder, and Pablo is their founder. He's originally from Argentina, moved a long time ago to Spain, fell in love with it, and founded the company about 30 years ago. They're very well known for their guitar signal switchers. In fact, I personally know some guys that use these, and if you're a guitar player, I'd take a look at them for sure. They take instrument level and can switch them out to different pedals and guitar processors. They make mic preamps and tube microphones, analog summing processors, and beautiful handmade guitar amps. Today, we're talking about their line of stereo bus processors. The Solid 4000 is the stereo Mixbuss processor from Kahayan. It's based on the sound of an SSL 4K console, which they studied and tested for years to get right, and they've basically been able to recreate that sound very faithfully. It features 3 knobs, so very simple controls, which are drive, output, and blend. You can basically decide on how much of the sound you want by using the drive knob. Then you can use the output for makeup gain, and then you can parallel process the 4000 with the blend knob, which is a very cool feature. It comes in 2 flavors, a 1-space rack or a 500 series for $14.95 or $9.49. For an elite 2-bus processor, these are great prices, which is a trend in pro audio gear lately, coming at a great price with great sounding hardware, and Kahayan has delivered on that. It's the same circuit that's included in their more expensive flagship summing box, the 32-channel summer. It's called the Epsilon. I call the sound instant energy. That's sort of a simplification, but I love what it does not just on the mids, but also in the bass. It gives things a solidity that's different than running it without or just through a normal compressor or EQ. There's just something nice to the color that it has on the kick drums and the low end. It's great on stems. So again, drum stems are great for this, and virtual synths especially. It adds a hardware quality to virtual synths. And as I said, I'm using this on my own project as well, so I really do believe in the sound of this. I just love the sound of it, actually. Thanks for watching my review of the Kahayan 4000. If you'd like to hear the Kahayan for yourself, get in touch with Kahayan, or I can even help you reach them so that you can find one of their worldwide distributors. If you'd like your song mastered with the Kahayan and all of my other cool gear, contact me at marceljamesmastering.com. Thanks for watching. This review has been brought to you by Marcel James Mastering. Loud, clear, and punchy.